glorify death in the hope that it would motivate us to fight harder to save our burning planet. Perhaps in the hope that it would spur those who remain sidelined to lend their voices and bodies to fight for survival and the fate of Mother Earth. I can only assume that Wynn felt the desperation of one with the clarity of vision to see the climate emergency for what it is, a ticking apocalypse time bomb, and each second wasted is more lives lost. Wynn struggled with the frustration of one who has spent years communicating the urgency of the moment only to watch as capitalist society carries on like never before, hungrier than ever for fossil fuels, belching smog and carbon. These are feelings that we can all relate to. And because we can relate, we gather to mourn and honor Wynn Bruce, a middle-aged man only 50 years young who passed before his time in a most dramatic manner. We gather together in refusal, in protest of his relegation to the dustbin of obscurity as his name sinks like a stone through the 24-hour news cycle. Wynn Bruce will not be forgotten.
Wynn Bruce was a son, a friend, a photographer, a documentarian, a devout Buddhist, and an avowed climate activist. Wynn loved dancing and loved cats and animals generally, as his friends and loved ones in Boulder, Colorado have attested in newspapers and magazines since his passing. He was known as an especially passionate activist and a compassionate person who went out of his way to help others. One beautiful example is the friendship he struck up with the sculptor Brian Grossman, a Boulder resident with multiple sclerosis. The two became friends after Wynn helped Grossman get his mobility tricycle down from his car while on shift at the vitamin college Wynn worked at. They forged a steady friendship. Wynn would go on to direct a short documentary about Grossman's experiences sculpting with disability. In short, Wynn Bruce was one of us, an ordinary person striving to be as compassionate and courageous as they possibly can, pushing and bucking against the oppressive conditions created by the broken political system, the sickly society, and dying world we inhabit. Therefore, it is our responsibility to raise him up and to ensure that Wynn's great sacrifice and David Buchal's before him do not go unnoticed. We will not allow their deaths to be spun as suicide. We will not allow them to be portrayed as profoundly sick people. There is logic, pathos, and sincerity in their sacrificial decisions. Their actions struck an inky black underline beneath the words "Climate Action Now." The stark and horrifying truth is that Wynn Bruce was not the first to take their own life in such a manner, not the first to take their own life to protest the climate emergency. And Wynn most likely will not be the last, unless we begin to drastically change our capitalist society, our all-consuming economy, our neoliberal politics, and our unnatural life ways. We will see many more activists die in the coming years, whether at the hands of the carceral state or their own. This is why we must not forget that Wynn Bruce's death could have been avoided, and why we must lay his coffin before the head of state and the powers that be, the elite power brokers and the decision makers who continue to pave the road towards climate apocalypse with ever more emissions, and the bodies of those sensitive, beautiful souls like Wynn Bruce. May he rest in peace.